One thing for sure about this movie, Karl Urban's jowl muscles are jacked. Dredd 3D, released in 2012, and is directed by Pete Travis, who is really more of a television director. He does have some feature films, though, including this one, and also Vantage Point, which was a fun kinetic ride. And this film stars Karl Urban's mouth, Olivia Thirlby, Wood Harris, and Lena Headey. It's not Headey, it's Headley Lamar. And welcome to episode 92 of Caleb Watches Movies. Episode 100 is right around the corner. We are so close, and I'm really excited to talk about my favorite movie. I'm also really excited to talk about a movie that I think is vastly underrated, and that is Dredd 3D. I like to call it just Dredd, but the 3D is in the title. This was around that time Avatar had come out a couple of years prior, so everyone was trying to do the next 3D picture. Because Avatar made like billions and billions of dollars, and everyone wanted to capitalize on this new thriving 3D business. So you had films that were scheduled to come out, and then Avatar hit, and then they're like, well, we need to do a 3D conversion, so let's try. And the 3D was shit. 3D for me, for the vast majority of the time, is shit. I don't get it. For me, it doesn't add anything to the movie viewing experience. It doesn't immerse me more into the film. I guess my mindset behind 3D is that the whole screen is still 2D. No matter how much you call it 3D, it's still 2D on a movie screen. No matter how much you have things coming at you. I know in the back of my mind that everything is on screen, and the 3D glasses I think are uncomfortable and unnecessary. Now look, in 10 years, when James Cameron finally gets his Avatar sequels released, he's gonna create some fantastic 3D virtual reality type technology that is just gonna be fantastic. Here's hoping, if those films ever get made. But until that time, I think that Dredd 3D is the best use of 3D that I have ever seen in a film. Dredd takes place in the not too distant future, where we live in a dystopian metropolis called Mega City 1. And in this city, to keep the peace, there is the law enforcement known as the judges, who act as judge, jury, and executioner. And on this day, Judge Dredd has an apprentice by the name of Judge Anderson, who is looking to be accepted into the judging academy. And while they are out on assignment, they are called to a distress signal from Peach Trees, which is a big living tower in the middle of Mega City 1 that is ran by the crime lord known as Mama. Mama, I just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Actually, Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is a perfect metaphor for this movie. If you've seen this and then you listen to the lyrics of Bohemian Rhapsody, I think they actually kind of work. It's just a thought that just occurred to me. Awesome! What an underappreciated movie this film is. Like I said before, this film has an amazing usage of the 3D technology. There's a drug that people take in this movie called slow-mo. It comes out of like an inhaler, and when they take it, everything slows down to like 1/10 of its speed. So in the middle of the movie, someone might be talking fast or moving around very quickly, and then someone takes a hit of slow-mo and you see sweat, you see debris, you see slobber just kind of going all over the place coming at you, and the 3D is beautiful. And I guess my mindset behind it is that if you're gonna have this piece of technology, this 3D technology, you gotta give me a purpose as to why it's in there. Don't just do 3D because, oh, it's the hip thing to do now and everything's gonna be in 3D. Give me a reason why I need to experience this in 3D. And in this movie, the experience is awesome. People are being thrown out over balconies, sometimes from the point of view of the person being thrown, and it's all in 3D, and you go, whoa! I love it. And from what I gather, the majority of people that saw this movie also loved it. So why did it do shit in the box office? Total box office take, $41.5 million. That is shameful. No one went to see this movie. No one. And in my opinion, everyone missed out on something great. This film gives you the feeling of that kind of indie art house type comic book film. Not these big budget blockbuster superhero flicks that come out nowadays. This one, very small budget, very contained, very atmospheric, and it's so enticing when you see it. When I left the theater, I was saying, I want the next one to come out tomorrow, which as a film producer is something that I would think I would want for my audience, but no one saw this film, so of course the studio is gonna say, well, we're not gonna greenlight the sequels now. Completely makes sense. No matter how many signatures that petition for a Dredd sequel gets, we're probably never gonna get one. Unless they do like a cool little nostalgia thing like 30 years down the line. And Karl Urban is an old man. Can you imagine the old man jowls on Karl Urban though under that helmet? And how classy is Karl Urban? He is a big star, but yet he signs on to this film to take on a role where his face is completely covered by a helmet. The entire time, we never see his face, which is something that Judge Dredd movie from the 90s kind of shied away from. Hey, I'm Stallone, I'm Judge Dredd, you gotta show my face. But Karl Urban wanted to stay true to the character, true to the comic strip, and never reveal his face, other than his mouth area. And Dredd is a complete badass in this film. He stays calm, he stays collective, he never goes on an outrage, and he never breaks down and cries. He just is constant. That's kind of what I would want from my law enforcement in my neighborhood. Not someone driven by emotion, someone driven by the law. And also, I think he is probably one of the best teachers that we've seen on screen. He's taken around Judge Anderson. She's trying to get into the Judge Academy, and he lays out the criteria. You lose your weapon. Fail. Incorrect judgment. Fail. Inability to carry out judgment. Fail. Thank you. All right. I know what I'm working with. And when they're trapped in peach trees, that big living tower, he lets Judge Anderson make a couple of the calls. He's letting his student discover through exploration. It's a sign of a good teacher. But if we are going to talk about that peach trees living tower, this whole situation is basically a remake of The Raid Redemption, which is a movie that was released the previous year, directed by Gareth Evans. If you haven't seen that movie, oh my god, see it now. Just a badass martial arts film where they're invading a tower to get someone who lives up at the very top. So you take that premise and you put Judge Dredd in it, and that's this movie. It is probably beat for beat the same movie, just with less martial arts and more action, guns, firing. And I know Hollywood is thinking about remaking The Raid into the American version, and I'm just thinking, you don't have to. We have Dredd, that's enough. And Karl Urban is surrounded by an excellent supportive cast. Olivia Thirlby, I really enjoyed as Judge Anderson. You can tell that she was trying to be as cold and as a matter of fact as Judge Dredd, but she still had that humanity about her. She's also a psychic, which apparently this world has, so she didn't wear the helmet a lot, which was a confusing story point because she said that she didn't wear the helmet because it affects with her telepathy, yet she could read other judges' minds when they had their helmets on. So I don't know the science behind that. They probably didn't want their two lead actors being covered up by helmets. They needed one of them with a face. And Lena Headey plays a ruthless killer here. She's probably the sweetest person in real life, but she always gets grouped into these badass or very, very cold and evil characters, which is kind of the truth that I see from actors. The people that play mainly like the villains and the asshole characters on screen are typically the nicest people in real life. Most of them. But she's ruthless, she's badass, she doesn't bat an eye when she says, yeah, I'm gonna skin you alive and then throw you over the balcony. Which she does, by the way. It's just, this film is so delightful. So guys, in the end, Dredd 3D is a vastly underrated film. This movie deserved to do so much better at the box office. But with a lack of marketing, and I think probably the time period that it was released, no one went to go see it. The success of the film, if there was any, all came from a cult following and DVD and Blu-ray purchases, which I highly recommend. If you've never seen this film, you'll probably find it for cheap, like in a discount bin somewhere. I definitely recommend picking it up. It is a hard R, don't get me wrong, but it's a really short film. It's only like an hour and a half. And it doesn't lag at all. Once we get to our situation, it goes. Karl Urban's mouth does an amazing performance, and all the rest of the actors just support him in such a fantastic way. And the film leaves you with just this feeling of, I want to see more from this world. They set it up so beautifully. What's gonna happen next? What happened before these events? How did we get to Mega City 1? What about all this corruption inside of the Judges Academy? I want to know! Sadly, we are never gonna find out because that sequel is probably never gonna get made, leaving this film definitely underrated. So, I'm gonna give Dredd 3D 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
Alright everyone, we are moving right along on our journey to episode 100 and beyond series, and next time we are going to be discussing a film which contains my favorite character. Which, I'm going to be honest, this is a little bit of a cheat. I don't have a favorite film character. That's impossible for me to decide. It depends on what mood I'm in, what genre I'm watching. There are so many characters I cannot pin it down to just one. But I can tell you my favorite literary character, which he did have a film come out in 2005. Any guesses on who it is? Well, I can let you know he's a chain smoker. That's the only hint you're getting. So everyone, have you seen Dredd 3D? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I post my next movie review. So everyone, I will see you next time with a movie containing my favorite character. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.